So here's an attitude for us to change is that God's judgment is real. It's a real thing that God is going to judge the world. It's a real thing that when we do wrong things, that we hurt people around us and that we cause bad things to happen. Judgment is real. And we are foolish to think that there are no consequences to our actions. We're foolish to think that God will not judge us for doing the wrong things or neglecting to do the right things. But in the midst of the judgment, there is salvation offered. In the midst of judgment, there is salvation offered. Salvation is offered to us in the middle of judgment. It is real, but God offers this judgment. So the book of Joshua is just, it has judgment all over it. And so we know, because a lot of people will come to this and say it's not, God is being um he's being mean. He is being mean. He's being judgment. But the Canaanites deserved the judgment, and the Israelites are going to deserve the judgment that comes upon them as well. You and I deserve judgment. We deserve eternal damnation in hell. I believe that. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We believe that. We've got to adjust our thinking to think that there is anybody that deserves being spared from terrible things happening. So God, though, at the same time, while God is passing judgment, he is offering salvation. And he is going to pass judgment on his own people when they disobey him as well. We're going to see a terrible story about one of the Israelites' men who take things from Jericho that they should not take. And he is going to be punished. And not only him, but his children also. So let's look at this story. We know Joshua has marched around 6 days, the walls of Jericho. And on the seventh day, he marches around it 7 times. The priests blow a long horn, and when they do, they shout. The people shout, "For the Lord has given you the city." Verse 17: "The city and all that is within it shall be devoted to the Lord for destruction." It's a very key term in Joshua, is that the conquered area is devoted to the Lord for destruction. They're not supposed to loot it. They're not supposed to take it for themselves. They're supposed to destroy every bit of it. This is actually, even within the context of all the ancient civilizations of those times, this whole idea of devoting to their God a city for destruction, it's very common in that ancient Near Eastern situation. But the Israelites were supposed to devote the entire city to the Lord. They weren't supposed to take a bit of it. But then notice the grace of God in the middle of the judgment. Only Rahab, the prostitute, and that just shows God's grace. A prostitute? But Rahab the prostitute and all within her house shall live, because she hid the messengers whom we sent. There's grace, there's forgiveness. And I think theoretically, anybody that would have been in her house would have been saved, right? It says all who are within her house. I can think we can conceive of a world that the people of Jericho truly repented, turned to the Lord, and embraced the Lord, surrendered the Israelites. The terrible disaster wouldn't have happened. I think we can conceive of that happen. They chose not to do that. Of course, we see the heart of the king being so hard. But then verse 18. Joshua says, "Keep yourselves from the things devoted to destruction." You're not allowed to have anything within here. It's all supposed to be burned up, and because we're devoting this to the Lord for destruction. So we recognize judgment is happening, and it's a terrible, awful judgment. But then also we need to recognize that salvation is happening, and it's a wonderful salvation. And that is happening to us as well, isn't it? We are being saved from the eternal torments of hell. We are being saved from the terrible judgment of God. But the judgment of God is still going to happen. And we actually experience the consequences of our sin. We experience many judgments of God in our own lives when we disobey God, when we go astray. Even when natural disasters and natural things happen to us, we feel the effect of what sin has done. Not a particular sin you or I have done, but just the fact that humanity has sinned. Adam and Eve began this great rebellion against God, and so bad things happen to us. That is a reality in our life. So they blow the horn, they go through, and they save Rahab and all of her family that is in her house, but they put everything else to the edge of the sword. But the two men go and they save Rahab out. They brought out Rahab and her father and mother and all who belonged to her. And then they burn the city with fire. And we know that when Jesus returns, there's going to be a great burning that's going to happen. The great heavens will melt. We also know that the eternal judgment of hell is described as a place where there is a fire, dark fire, a fire that will never go out, and where the worm will never die. A terrible, awful place. Praise God that we are spared that through Jesus Christ. We need to be telling as many people as possible about this. And then Joshua laid an oath on them and said, "Curse before the Lord be the man who rises up and rebuilds this city, Jericho. At the cost of his firstborn shall he lay its foundation. At the cost of his youngest son shall he set up its gates." So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame was in all the land. I pray that has been a blessing to you, and I'll see you in the next video.